Hi guys, Squirrel here, and welcome to another Euro Truck video. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the upcoming changes in version 1.22 of Euro Truck Simulator 2. It's currently in an open Steam beta, but I suspect it will be released this week. I'm going to talk you through the changes and how they're going to affect you. For once it's not raining in London. Look at this, beautiful summer's day. Here we are at the Volvo garage, and we're going to take a look at one of the first changes that's come into 1.22, and that's to do with wheels. If we go into the configuration page here, one thing to note is there used to be 3 boxes here, there are now 2. Can you remember which one's missing? It is in fact the paint shop. The paint shop has now been integrated into the upgrade shop, which basically means that once you're configuring and buying a new truck, you no longer need to go down to the mechanic in order to get the full paint selection. If you come down to here in the upgrade shop now, you can do this as you're building a brand new truck, or when you visit the mechanic, you get the full selection of paint decals right here, and you can preview them to your heart's content. Now, if you click on this and go to your tyre and wheel selection, one of the big changes that's come in with 122, and this will likely break any tyre, rim, or mods you might have installed, is they've basically taken on the European tyre grading system. What this means is when you click on a tyre now, you'll see these extra numbers. Now this is a European thing. These are actually in force in real life. This is to do with rolling resistance, wet grip and noise levels. Now the rolling resistance directly affects how efficient your tyre is at fuel efficiency. Obviously more resistance means decreased fuel efficiency. So the ratings go up to A being the best. You can see here this is a D, a C and a B. So obviously the runner is more fuel efficient because it offers less rolling road resistance. The second rating is the wet grip. Again, A being the best. I think it goes down to E or F, I can't remember. But A is certainly better than B or C. And this is how grippy the tyre is in the wet. Now, SCS say that they have simulated this in the game. I have not personally tested it. It's kind of hard to physically test this unless we can get a truck in wet weather and go at a constant speed, hit the brakes on full and measure the distance. That's the only way we can physically measure this kind of thing. I haven't done that yet. I may do it in the future. If you have, leave me a comment and let me know if you actually found there's a difference between these ratings. SCS say there is. The final one is the noise level. Now, the noise level is obviously something that's of importance to the European legislative people down there. But basically, as you're driving along, a higher grade of noise level, sorry, a lower number of noise level is the decibel rating, is how much noise you're going to hear while you're in the cab. That's basically it. These things are now built into the tires in the game. They do have future plans. They say they've got cool stuff being prepared for the game in future updates. Not sure what they're doing. Hopefully what they're going to do is start signing up some real-world tyre manufacturers, maybe Pirelli, Michelin, Continental, all these people, and then we'll be able to ditch these Trailmaster Elementals and Runners and get something a bit more real-world. Possibly same with the rims as well. Maybe we'll actually see some proper rims signed up, some manufacturers signing up here and getting their names in there. One final thing that you can do, if you notice on the runner, when you click the runner, you also get to change the decal slightly. You can choose the letters, the color of the lettering. This is only available on the runner currently. I don't know if they've got any plans to change it to anything else, but you know, it's kind of nice. You can change the lettering there and make it match the truck. So that's the wheel upgrade that's come into 122. Now, the next thing, and this is perhaps the most significant thing, and one that's probably going to cause the most confusion. When you go to the job market now, when you click on it, you now see not just the freight market, where you normally get a job from when you've got a truck, and the quick job area, where you can drive somebody else's truck, but you also get external contracts. Complete World of Trucks delivery contracts using your own equipment. Record these is stored in the World of Trucks profile. What's all that about? Well, basically what they've done is they've put some server-side stuff in there. Why have they done this? Well, what they're trying to do is build a sort of a meta game that sits across European Truck Simulator. So instead of you just having this game installed at home and driving away to your heart's content and building up your own little profile, what's actually going to happen is you'll be able to associate your Euro Truck with your World of Trucks online account. And when you take an online job, you'll be able to drive that delivery in the game, and your statistics and job will be recorded on the server for all to see on the server. So your stats are going to be recorded online when you make these online deliveries. That's it in a nutshell. Obviously, this is a small step towards bigger things, but let's take a look at how we do it and then we'll talk more about it. So the first step is you need to go to the World of Trucks website and actually sign up for a contract. In order to take an external contract, you need to come to the worldoftrucks.com website. What you do is you then sign in and you click on the top here and go to Job Market. Now, when you first go to Job Market, it will ask you for a starting city. The starting city doesn't really mean anything. It's just a way of getting the job market to kick off on the World of Trucks website. So I chose London, and that means that my jobs are now generated from London. But it doesn't matter. Once you start delivering jobs, these will just continually flow from your starting city. As you can see, it's presenting me with a list of jobs. There are 5 pages of jobs. I can sort them in different ways. And you can see that my personal statistics at the moment are completely zero because I have not yet completed an online job. So let's say we want to take this job here. This is plums from London to Cambridge. It expires in 13 hours. It's 110 kilometers. And if you click on it, it gives you more information. It says here that we're taking plums, London to Cambridge. The send is POSPED and the recipient is Transinet. It tells you the mass. What it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you how much you're going to get. It doesn't show you it on the map. There are some limitations to this whole thing at the moment. But essentially, this is what you're going to do to get the contract into the game. You pick the contract that you want, you click sign contract, like so. It pops it up and says, are you sure? Contract signed. This is your current job. Run Euro Truck Simulator, access external contracts to begin delivery. Okay. That is it now. We've now accepted that contract. We go back into the game and we can choose it there. So having signed up for that contract, I come back here and it says your new World of Trucks contract is pending. So you click on this, and it will display the job that we chose. You can see it's synchronized, and here it is. It goes from London up to Cambridge. Notice that it actually shows us the map, the actual route inside the game. This is not available on the website, as you saw, but that's going to be worked on soon. Now you can see we've got 5 hours remaining. We need to either abandon this or begin delivery. I don't believe there's a consequence at the moment to abandoning it, but if you click on begin delivery, this is what happens next. Notice, it instantly teleports you to the job, hooks you up with the trailer, and you are ready to rock and roll. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, it will teleport you straight into London. Now, I've got map mods installed, but all of the online contracts that you sign up for will only be generated in the basic SCS Eurotruck world. What does that mean? It means you will never get an online contract currently in Going East DLC, any of the cities in Going East, or any of the cities in Scandinavia, currently. They have plans, they're working on it, those will come, but right now, this is the quickest they could get this out the door, is to just go for the base Eurotruck world. Also, if you've got map mods installed, maybe TSM, Pro Mods, anything like that, it will not generate contracts that goes to those cities. So, you're only ever going to see the basic stuff, which is absolutely fine, because that's still quite a bit, but you're not going to see, for example, anything up in the Scandinavia world, or in the Pro Mods world, or TSM world. That's a restriction currently. You teleport into the job at the start, like this. When you actually drive this journey, you are limited to 90 kilometers per hour. Why? Why are you speed limited to 90 kilometers per hour when you're taking an online contract? Well, quite simply because the idea here is to level the playing field. It would be no good somebody driving, in quotes, properly, like a truck driver, taking this delivery, while somebody else is putting their foot down with a 1,000 brake horsepower truck and, you know, managing to get 110, 120 kilometers, delivering that way quicker than anybody else who's sticking to the speed limit. That's the point of it, and I have to agree with it. I think it's a reasonable thing to do. So you are speed limited to 90 kph. Notice that when I took the job, it doesn't tell me how much money I'm going to get for it. When I'm online, it doesn't say this is how much money you're going to get, this is how long it might take. It just gives you a distance marker. That's because the game client is going to still have to calculate this. In the future, they're going to change it so that the World of Trucks website has its own economy. It will use rates and costs that are closer to the real world, but again, that's plans for the future. Also, fuel consumption is not currently displayed or fed back to the World of Trucks website, so that's something else that isn't there yet. This is a one small step along a series of steps that's going to make this pretty awesome. And there we go. We've arrived. Disconnect the trailer. And we'll get a synchronization with World of Trucks. and it's delivered exactly like any other job. Like so. The only difference is that that job was now recording against our World of Trucks profile. So let's go and have a look at that. Back on the World of Trucks website, you go to the top here, you click on My Page, and that will give you your page. And there it is. One job accomplished, 16 tons of mass transported, total distance 110 kilometers. And if you scroll down, it gives you a little bit more information here. Most taken cargo, plums. Fantastic. I'm sure I can get that changed. But you can see how it's going to work. I suspect they'll reset all these stats after the beta anyway, once this thing goes live. But once it does go live, you can start to accumulate your job statistics in the online job, but only if you take those online contracts. This will not be affected by any normal freight market jobs that you should take. So what else got changed in version 1.22 of EuroTruck? Well, there were some other little bits and pieces, some more significant than others, as well as the usual sort of plethora of truck model adjustments and map model adjustments and fixes. There were no new cities in this particular release. There were, however, some audio changes to the Volvo FH and FH16 Classics, so they've changed the audio on that. There is apparently some improved navigation lane switching in the AI and some obstacle checking. So far, recently, I've not seen much difference, but then, who knows? I still see the AI being fairly aggressive and pulling out on me, but maybe I'll notice the lane changing much more efficiently later. There's also been an improved simulation of the suspension. On the AI, apparently they lean into curves now and they accelerate and decelerate. I'll have to keep my eye out for that one. More importantly though, there's been some config changes. Now, one particular one which I found extremely useful, and this is a little tip for you. If you turn on the developer console, and I won't tell you how to do that because that is well documented on the forums, but if you've turned on the developer console, you press the tilde key and it brings you this console down here. You can change some of the settings in the game. Now, one of the new ones they've put in is this one. G_job, press tab, distance limits, okay? G_job distance limit. If you press enter now, it will tell you that I've set a limit of 600. Normally that is on -1, which means it has no limit. What does that do? That sets a distance limit on the jobs that are generated in your freight market, which is really cool. Because, let's face it, whenever you go to the job market down here, and you click on the freight market, what you often find is you click on a city, and it just gives you jobs that are, 1,200, 2,000 kilometers long, like massive jobs. And you've only got an hour or something on, so you don't want to have this. You want to have some smaller jobs. Well, if you set that value to whatever limit you want, so I've set it to 600, you will notice that all the jobs here are now under 600, which is absolutely fantastic because it means that almost everything in this job market is now under 600. Notice I said almost everything. Why did I say almost everything? Well, it's because every now and again it seems to generate enormous jobs. Like that one. The land distance is 1,000 kilometers and the ferry distance is 700. That means the driving distance is more than 600. Why is that? I don't know. This is a beta. I think there's a bug. But on the whole, it does seem to work. Whatever city you click on, most of the jobs will be under 600, which is exactly what you want, or exactly what I set. And I find that extremely useful now, and well worth checking out. There are some other console options that they've brought in as well. One final thing I wanted to point out, which I forgot to mention, is the job distance limit. If you change that job distance limit, it won't immediately affect your economy. Okay, because you've already got a whole bunch of jobs. You need to flush those through to generate new jobs. You can do that in one of two ways. You can either go and sleep a couple of times, in which case all the new jobs that then get created will be under 600k or whatever you set it to. The other way to do it is to do the old G_force economy reset. Now, if you turn that to 1, okay, and press enter, I'm not going to do that, but if you set that to 1, press enter, and then all you need to do is click on your profiles, go to your profile screen and jump back in to your profile. Once you do that, it will pop up and say something along the lines of your economy has been reset. Don't forget to reset that back down to 0. Don't leave it turned on. If you leave it turned on, it'll reset your economy every time you go into your profile. But that will flush the entire economy market through and you'll end up with just jobs that are the size that you want them to be. Finally, there's something that's been brought in that says hired drivers are more efficient when equipped with a good truck. Now, if you remember, I've mentioned this in the past. If we just go to company manager and then go to our driver manager here, You will notice that I have a whole bunch of drivers, and what I do is I give them all, look, stock scanners. Look at this. Some of them are things that I've upgraded, but on the whole, they are just the basic, most cheap truck I can find. And the reason I do that is because I worked out that it doesn't matter if I give them the most basic Scania in the world or I give them an R730. It doesn't make any difference. Well, what they're saying here is it does now make a difference. The AI driver will be more efficient. My problem is that that is very vague. If I give them a, in quotes, good truck, they will be, in quotes, more efficient. What does it mean? How do I measure it? How do I get the stats? Where is it going to show me this? How can I say if I gave them one of these trucks and I gave them a different truck and it made them 5% more fuel efficient or 10% faster? I don't know. What's my return on investment? Is it worth me chucking 50k on each truck for my AI drivers? Am I going to get that money back, ever? Is it worth splashing the cash? I don't think it is, personally. But I don't know because I have no numbers. I have nothing to go off. So, in summary, 1.22 is imminently going to come out on Steam. If you want to try it right now before it comes out, right-click on your Eurotruck game, select Properties, go to the Betas tab, and opt in to the 1.22 beta. If not, just sit back and wait until 1.22 is released, and then you can play with all these new things. I hope you enjoyed the online contracts. I hope you find this video useful. Please give me a like if you did. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about the changes. Until the next video, guys, take care. Happy trucking.